Look at this map of the 5 U.S. consulates in India. On January 26, 2026, thousands of Indian IT professionals logged on to the scheduling portal and saw the same message: no appointments available. All 5 locations, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, went completely dark at once. Interview slots have bypassed 2026 entirely. The calendar begins in Q1 2027, throwing dates as far out as 2029 for some applicants. This blackout stems from a compounding systemic crisis rather than a temporary technical glitch. The scheduling infrastructure has buckled under a series of policy shifts that require immediate attention if you hold a U.S. work visa. Standing directly in the center of this collapse are Indian tech workers. These are professionals holding Indian passports who rely on the U.S. immigration system to advance their careers, maintain their residency, and travel home to see their families. With consulate slots now pushing into 2027 and 2029, a single travel mistake or an unplanned job change right now can lead to a multi-year lockout. Your decisions this season will determine whether your career continues in the U.S. or stalls for the next half-decade. 3 separate policy changes struck at exactly the same time. First, on December 15, 2025, the U.S. State Department began mandatory online presence reviews for every H1B and H4 applicant. They are now actively auditing your social media history. This manual review process slowed consulate throughput to a crawl. To manage the resulting backlog, officials began canceling Q1 2026 appointments and rescheduling them further into the future. Second, the government ended third country processing. Previously, if you couldn't find an appointment in Chennai, you could travel to Dubai or Singapore to get your passport stamped. That option is effectively gone. Every international applicant who once relied on those third country loopholes has been forced back into the domestic queue in India, swelling the line while processing speeds are at their lowest. Third, the Trump administration introduced a wage-weighted H1B selection model for FY 2027. This change brought severe employer compliance requirements and a surge in paperwork that stalled the system even further. These 3 policies combined to create an inescapable bottleneck. It is a freeze engineered, intentionally or not, to trap the high-volume Indian IT workforce. If you are currently working in the U.S., you need to identify your exact level of exposure. Let's run a risk assessment. The most immediate risk is for those already abroad who have seen their appointments rescheduled, and those facing a renewal in the next 6 months. Without a physical stamp in your passport, you have no legal way to cross back into the U.S. to resume your life. New lottery winners are also stuck, staring at interview dates that fall long after their intended start dates. This also hits H4 dependents, whose ability to work or attend school remains tied to a consulate slot that doesn't exist. There are also invisible traps in standard career moves. Changing employers legally invalidates your current visa stamp for travel. If you switch jobs now, you cannot travel outside the U.S. and return until you secure one of those rare 2027 appointments. This hits even harder when you look at the green card pipeline. In June 2026, the Visa Bulletin retrogressed EB2 India by more than 10 months. For many, this pushback extends the wait for permanent residency by decades, hitting exactly as the stamping window shuts. When you cannot renew your stamp and your path to residency moves backward, the traditional career path becomes a liability. You need a way to outsmart the bottleneck. To maintain your momentum, you must move away from the standard H1B timeline. Here is a 5-step framework to navigate the freeze. Step 1. Halt all unnecessary international travel. Unless you hold a valid stamp and have a confirmed return appointment, leaving the U.S. right now is a gamble that could end in a multi-year lockout. Step 2. Verify your eligibility for the Dropbox or interview waiver program. If you have had 2 prior H1B stamps and your most recent was issued within the last 48 months, you may qualify to bypass the interview queue entirely. Step 3. Evaluate the O1 visa. It is cap-exempt and processes in 15 business days. For senior IT professionals with a strong portfolio of published work or industry awards, this is the most effective way to step out of the H1B backlog. Step 4. Before you resign or accept a promotion, consult an immigration attorney. You need a professional calculation of your portability risks to ensure a job change doesn't leave you stranded. Step 5. Look at parallel tech hubs. Canada's Express Entry and Global Talent Stream are specifically targeting tech workers, with faster processing times than the current U.S. system. Germany's EU Blue Card is another viable path, with thousands of unfilled IT roles. Moving to these markets allows you to keep your career moving while the U.S. consulate system recovers. The H1B was always intended to be a bridge, but for many, it became a dead end. You do not have to wait for a bureaucracy to fix itself. Adapt to the current reality, look at the geography of the global tech market, and plan smarter.